Hey all, it's David Ducker coming back at you, and today I'm going to be talking about chase scenes, the mechanics of chase scenes. I already did a video on why chase scenes are fun and awesome and how to do them cinematically exciting, but I got some requests to do a video on the mechanics. Um, I'm not a big rules guy, so my mechanics are fairly simple, but I'll lay them out as I do them. In most systems, some systems have their own system that are great just for chases. But generally, um, we just go by increments. So we're looking to get 10 increments away from whatever we're chasing or whatever's chasing us to lose them. And these increments can be vastly distant stretches of distance. So if you're on a spaceship, it could be 1,000 kilometers or 10,000 kilometers. If you're at a car chase, it could be 100 meters, or it could be a mile if it's like a long distance endurance style horse race even. So foot chase, it could be it could be 10 feet. If you're chasing someone through a crowded street in the fog, you might lose them in 10 feet if you get 100 feet away from them in that circumstance, which is 10 increments. So basically, when I start the chase, I decide how many increments apart from each other they are. So whether they're right next to each other and it's like 1 or 0, or whether they're, you might maybe be able to catch him, but he's like 9 increments away from you already. And to move an increment, you have to win an opposed test. So whether that's you're in a straightaway and it's a opposed athletics check to run fast, whether that's a tight corner and you got to make an agility test to keep your footing and take that corner as quickly as possible, whether that's a jump test because there's a fence coming up, whether that's an awareness test because it's the fog and you're not sure where he went exactly. So I just run with opposed tests. Very few systems will not have anything for you to use on opposed tests. I don't think Numenera does. So Numenera, you might have to tinker around with it a little, but I'm sure you can find something. But that's pretty much it for the mechanics. Just do some opposed tests, do some plus, some minus. You can do it in a tighter fashion as well if you really want to, but for my purposes, being a rules light kind of guy, this is all I need, and it works great. It's not broke, so I don't fix it. Now these often I like some supplementary mechanics for this, just in terms of statistics. A lot of games will give you like one statistic for your whole chase. And that's too boring for me. It's bland. I like a little more crunch than that. So I usually go with like 3. You've got your straightaway top speed. You've got your cornering or handling on the vehicle. Even if that's a horse, some horses are more agile than others. And then you got your acceleration. So that's for the turn after you start or the turn after you make that quick corner. How quickly can you accelerate and gain to your top speed? So I usually go with those 3, and I think that creates a pretty good degree of flexibility. So you can say, oh yeah, well my race car has got great cornering, and his race car has great top speed. So that's how we're different, And somebody else can come and say, oh, I've got the jack of all. I've got a little bit of skill in each area, but not too much. But our points balance is the same, so I'm just as likely to win, even though I play very differently. And again, with all these rules, any kind of rules, I like different but equal but different. So you can make a choice and have your own style, but not get jacked by that choice and have it be weak. Because nobody wants to lose. You want to have a fighting chance. Somebody's got to lose. But at least that guy should have a fighting chance. So that's about it on the mechanics. Just make sure that you've got different statistics, and then just task them against each other. So the start of the race, everybody make an acceleration test, and that'll determine where our order, our lineup. Go down the straightaway, everybody make a speed test. And then if you're trying to pass someone, you might say make opposed handling tests and see if you can block. If you're in the front, if you can block him from passing you, or if you're behind him, if you can deke out and pass him. So might make opposed handling tests to actually pass someone if you are trying to pass them. If not, if you're in a horse race and you're trying to stop him, that could be a fighting test to pull him off his horse. Or it could be a handling test. If you're doing a chariot race, it could be a handling test to force his chariot into the wall so his wheel breaks and his chariot explodes and he goes flying through the air. So just get those different tests in with as many different skills and attributes and abilities as you can. So it'll start to look forward and plan these things out. So say, oh well, I want to get a faster horse or a more agile horse, or an endurance horse. If you're running an endurance race, that might be a big factor for you. So yeah, be able to customize your vehicle, and that comes, like I just said, comes back to animal breeds as well. We're playing Game of Thrones right now, and it's got 5 or 10 different horses. There's the destrier, there's a courser, there's a jenner, and a rouncy. There's a palfrey and a stott. So there's many different types of horse, as there are in real life, and a lot of those horses are real life horses, or they were in the medieval era. So you want to know kind of the different capabilities of each. So when I say, oh, the knight is coming after you and he's mounted on a destrier, they know exactly what that means. It's like if he's got a full plate and a heater shield and a warhammer, they know what his fighting style is going to be. Oh, he's going to absorb damage. He's going to absorb damage, but he's moving really slow, and he's going to try to deal a lot of damage with no finesse. So just by the description of his equipment, they know what he's going to do. And it's the same thing with his horse. They know what a destrier is good at. A big, strong, tough, mean horse, but it doesn't have very much agility or stamina, really, but it's really strong, and it's got really good acceleration. Versus someone who's coming in on a courser, which is a quick, light, agile horse. So it doesn't have a lot of strength to lend if you're trying to charge through troops or lance someone, but it's going to run longer, faster. You can take corners better with that horse. So they're about equal. A destrier and a courser are about equal horses. They're just different. Versus like a rouncy is kind of the jack of all. He's okay in each area, but not great. So maybe he is a better. He's stronger than a courser, but he's a little faster than a destrier. But he can't beat them where they're good at. But he can beat them where they're weak. So a rouncy is fine. And then a jenner is that's a terrible horse. You see a knight riding a jenner, he's poor. He doesn't have any money, or else he wouldn't have such a broke-ass horse. So that can add a lot into the game there with your animal mounts. And sizing someone up if he's going to chase you, or if you're going to chase him. Is he long-legged? Is he fat? Does he look like he's in shape? Is he small so he can wiggle through crevices? Or maybe if you're chasing him rooftops, can he run along a clothesline to escape you? Whereas a normal weighted person would bust through that clothesline. These things, I love to foreshadow. Don't just have violence. Don't just have a chase. Build up to it. Foreshadow it. Don't just say, oh, a guy attacks you. Say, you see a big, muscly guy covered in scars, and he's his knuckles are all scabbed over, and a mean look in his eye. and then he attacks you. Now they're feeling something about that combat, so it's going to be more important, if only in their own minds. I mean, the actual mechanical combat will be the same, but by describing it differently, you make it feel different, you make it memorable. You got to get the same thing out of your chase scenes, and you got to get your mechanics to support that. So, you know, if I describe someone and I'm like, oh, you know, this guy's really long-limbed and muscular and supple, you know, lithe. In some systems, that description, it doesn't really matter. Like, mechanically, there's no difference between a guy who looks like that versus a guy who's like kind of tubby and you know, short legs. Some systems, their mechanics just don't differentiate it, so that can hurt your role playing, because you can look at the mechanics. If it's a good system, look at the mechanics, you can get the flavor right out of that. You don't even have to think of anything. You can just read it off, and the mechanics help the role play. They help the description, and that's what you want. But that's probably a long tangent on a very short video. But I don't like short videos anyway, so I forgive myself, even if you don't forgive me. But let me know what you do for chase scenes, how you mechanically run them. If you've seen them with poor mechanics, you know, if you've seen them with better mechanics than what I just described, please let me know so I can adopt it. You know, that's about all I got to say about the chase scene. It's my second chase scene video. I gotta sign off now. Everybody have yourself a good day on YouTube.